let's start today's session. So the name of webinar is New Dynamic Update Technology for Assembly Management. My name is Valinsas Balsevičius. I'm structural engineer and application engineer working in AGA-CAD. Our mission is to create solutions which accelerates your work, and we just celebrated 25 years anniversary. We have more than 8,000 users in more than 100 countries, so we are pretty long in this market. So we may promise to our clients that we will try to reduce your stress, to bring BIM to life and eliminate unnecessary tasks. So this short introduction about our company and now about this webinar. So you will see how sharp drawings are generated with Smart Assemblies. I will overview the Smart Assemblies commands. So it will touch overall overview of all Smart Assemblies solution, and I will talk also about new commands and new possibilities introduced in the latest version. So the most important maybe will be the dynamic Smart Assemblies update functionality. I will show how does it work. And basically the Smart Assemblies creates assemblies, then it creates views, then it creates rule-based dimensions and place these views on sheets. So we will see how we can do that. And yeah, now we can start a live demo. So I will show how does it work and how to use this new functionality, dynamic update. Okay, I will switch to my Revit window. I will check if the screen is okay. Yeah, you should see my screen with Revit now. If there will be some problems with presentations, so just drop me a message. Or if you have questions, just write them and I will try to answer them at the end of presentation. So, okay, so how to get Smart Assemblies? First of all, so you have to install this tools for BIM doc, and then it will be visible over here. So from the Store tab, you will find the Smart Assembly solution. We'll install it, and you can open it, and you will see here commands under the Smart Assemblies, commands for the Create Assemblies, Modify Assemblies, and Configuration tab. Okay, so how does it work? How does Smart Assemblies works, and how can it help you? So I will just run command. I will select one of my walls. I will run this command. We will see how does it work, and we will talk about it later. Yeah, about the results. So here in this window, I select the configuration. You can see possible categories for the Smart Assemblies. So walls, parts, floors, structural framing. It's not available, let's say, for the pipes in the current version, but maybe we'll create later something. Okay, so I'll click on Create, and now you will see that some generation is in process. So what actually the Smart Assemblies does now? So it takes the main element, so I picked wall, and it adds all the hosted details to the Smart Assembly. So you don't need to add all of connection details, all of the cuts manually to assembly. So you just select the main element and run command to create assemblies. Then you saw I selected the configuration for for shop drawings, and now it creates assembly, and then it creates views. So you can see that creating dimensions for a vertical section view, for other views, and now I have the report that Smart Assembly was created. So we will see now this new element was created. We can overview views. How does it look? Let's say we have dimensioning lines for these details. We have dimensioning lines for other details as well. So it was dimensioned according to my selected configuration, right? So we have a few views created. We have schedules created according to the schedules in the Revit. So you don't need to manually adjust every schedule in Smart Assemblies. So we have, let's say, another schedule, and I have sheet created. Now I will drag views of my wall. Okay, so I will align them. You see the alignment line appears. So it's necessary for the to use this sheet as a template later on. So it's these alignment lines I used to place new drawings of our assembly. Okay, so I will, let's say I prepared my drawing, and now I can use this sheet as a template sheet for our assembly. So for this, this will be the next functionality which gives us advantage to use. So I will change configuration, and I will select this new sheet as a template for the other assemblies. So let's say I will create another assembly, another wall over here. So I have a wall over here. It's a bit different, but the size is approximate the same, so I can use this sheet as a template. And I will select this command again, create assembly, and we'll create. So you see that I have changed configuration. I have assigned the sheet template, so I could save even more time when I create assembly. So all new views of this new assembly will be created and then placed to the sheet. So we don't need to place them manually to the sheet. So it again gives us advantage while working with assemblies in Revit. Okay, so it will create all of the views, the same views which was created for this panel, and we will see the report, and let's see how does it look. Now we have the sheet, and you will see that my new views was created for the new panel, and all the views were placed on the sheet in the same place as in the template sheet. So that's how it works. That's what was created for. So yeah, let's overview now the commands, and some commands were available before in previous versions, and some commands are new. So update assemblies, the next command. The first one creates assembly according to configuration, to the selected configuration, and the other one updates assembly. So update assemblies, let's say if I will add some opening, I will click on update, so it again will regenerate all the drawings, and it will place dimensions again, and it will dimension, let's say, that opening. Or I will change something in configurations with the dimension style or whatever, so I will click on update, and it will update all the assembly and assembly views. recalculate assemblies command will let you just to move gravity point which was created during the assembly while I created assembly. So let's say if I will add an opening, okay, I will add the opening like this to assembly, and if I will hit on recalculate assemblies, so my gravity point was moved, but drawings were not updated. So sometimes it's useful not to update drawings because, let's say, I have prepared already all of the dimensions. Maybe I have deleted some of the dimensions. Maybe I did some modifications, manual modifications, which I want to remain, and I don't want to use update of a view. So I can just calculate the gravity point and also recalculate command. It also updates assembly but not assembly views, and it gives the name to the assembly according to the mark of the main element. Okay, Auto Create Assemblies, a new command which was introduced in this latest release. So how does it work? You see, I have to select element, and when I create assembly, I have to assign the configuration which I want. But now you can do it in different way. You can add name of configuration to the element. So let's say I have added to this type of a wall configuration of the name. It should be under this Smart Assembly configuration parameter. So I can add the name of configuration which I want to use, and when I click on Auto Create Assemblies, it will create assembly according to the name which is over here, which I typed manually. So okay, I will give it a new mark. So when we create assemblies, we have to, the main element has to have mark value, and yeah, if I use Auto Create Assemblies, it should have this name under this parameter. So this could be a type parameter, or this could be a family parameter. Let's say if I will edit family of this slab, and you will see that I have created formula. I have used formula for the value in this parameter. So I said that if the length of my slab is shorter than 4.5 meters, the configuration name will be like this, and in our case the configuration name will be like this. So then I draw this, then I use this family to draw my slab, so you will see that this slab now has the configuration name like this, because it's a bit longer than 4.5 meters, and this one is shorter than 4.5 meters, and it has different configuration name. And with Auto Create Assemblies, I can select different categories, different elements, and just click on Auto Create Assemblies, so I don't need to manually assign configuration name by assigning this to each individual element. So now it will create assemblies of all of these elements according to the configuration in this parameter. Okay, so I will delete this one. I don't need that. Okay, so this is new command in this release. Now manage assemblies, it's also a new command. It's related to our new release, to the dynamic update, and why it is important. You will see such commands like show primary assembly, show primary and secondary assemblies. So what does it mean? So to show primary assembly, we call primary assembly, it's the assembly with drawings. So this assembly has drawings, and these assemblies are just the copies of this assembly. They don't have drawings. So you can see that this, I will call this primary assembly because it has drawings. So it's a MW12 assembly, right? And you will see here that you cannot acquire views, and this assembly can acquire views. So it means it can take these views, I can transfer these views to this assembly. If I will delete, let's say this, so we will call this secondary assembly, the copy of primary assembly. Okay, I will delete this. So still we have MW12 drawings are still available. But if I will delete the primary assembly, so you will see that all the drawings are gone, even if I have still this assembly because it's the same, but I have only copies, so I don't have the drawings. So it's important when we use dynamic update, it works differently with primary and with secondary assemblies. So I will show you how to manage this, and if you will have a lot of elements in different stores, so yeah, you can, you know, easily find which one of them is primary assembly, how many assemblies are the same. Let's see, so now I see that in my project I have only these three assemblies of the same type, and I can easily isolate them, let's say, to overview or modify them easier. So okay, so yeah, so maybe it's enough about managed assemblies. We'll get back to this maybe later. Other commands like edit configuration, so it just means that when we create assembly, we can edit configuration, we can change something like add views or change view templates or change dimension rules, or whatever we need. So we can just edit configuration of any element which we have created already. Change configuration. We can change just if selected element, we will select different configuration and we will update views according to the new configuration. Disassemble command. When we have assembly, we create assembly, we insert gravity point. Let's say I have selected to insert gravity point. So with simple Revit command disassemble, it will disassemble, but it will not remove gravity point. This command does disassemble, and plus it removes the gravity point. So this is a bit different command. Okay, in the configuration commands, we have now three commands. So first of all, configuration file location. So all of configurations are stored somewhere in your computer. It's not related to your project. You know, you can use this configuration in other projects, but you can store your configuration in different locations. Let's say for the project it could be, or you will divide to the few types of configuration. So you can easily switch to other configurations. Just click OK, and you will have different configurations. So you will have only maybe the configuration you need in the current work, or you can just share with your colleagues this places, let's say in your computer. This one could be on the network and so on. So you can choose these options. In the previous versions also there was only one place where you can store or two places, but now you can have more options and more flexibility. Okay, now shop drawings configurations is most important thing where you define what will be created and how it will be created. So here when you open shop drawing configurations, you can save different configurations. We have different views, different schedules, different sheets and so on. So let's say I have this configuration and I have created views over here. I would like to create this, and this. I would like to create 3 views. So you can select all the typical views which are available in Revit, but we have additionally flipped versions of regular Revit view. So this is a flipped version, this one, and this one, horizontal view. And we may use, of course, legends in our shop drawings. Okay, so we select the views which we want to create, then we can give our view a name. So it could be any name you want, you just type it here. Then you have to assign the view template which will be used for this view. So you can assign different templates for each of the view. Then we have dimension rule. We can create from here the dimension rules, and we can set up how the views should be dimensioned. So I will get back to this to explain more about it. But now over here we have also possibility to tag elements in view. Let's say we can insert a gravity point in view, right? So we can switch off something, or we can show it only on the front view, let's say. If we want to, this is the new column released only in this version. So now you have possibility to switch off update of your views. Let's say you did some manual changes to your views and you don't want to update drawings. You don't want to, you want to keep it as it is, maybe just so you can, you know, switch off to it will lock the view and it will not update this let's say particular view, but it will update these views. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear. Views are visible, so it means that view symbols are visible in the front view, but they are not visible in these sections in my case. And we can choose to insert grids. So insert grids will insert it will draw the grids which are intersecting with your assembly, with your primary assembly. So let's yeah, if you created assembly and you have copies of assembly, so you will see insert grids of a primary assembly. Here you have options to also to align the front view as it is in the family editor of the element. You can reverse front and back views, which is important for the walls. You can choose to insert or not insert gravity points. If you can choose to use tags with leaders, and you can choose to lengthen section views. So this option gives you let's say, I'll take a look now. Yeah, it will move symbols outside the dimension. You see, in this configuration I have used this option, and in this configuration I didn't use, so you see that the symbol is on the dimension line. So you will have to move it automatically if you will not use this in configurations. Okay, yeah, so here you set up the views, then you move to the schedules. You can select the schedules which you will use for this assembly. So you can use the schedule to serve as a template from here, from standard Revit schedules. You can give it a name, and you can choose if it will the count will be calculated according to the assembly instance or assembly type. So you can calculate for one assembly or for all assemblies of this type. And sheets, now yeah, you can select to create the sheet and the sheet to use sheet as a template, you know, and to select the title block which you want to use for these assemblies. Okay. Oh, right. Shop drawing configurations. So this is I was talking about how to create views, schedules, and sheets, but here we have important configurations, how elements will be dimensioned. So again, you can create different rules, dimension rules, and here you have a possibility to define how main element will be dimensioned, what dimension style will be used, what openings will be dimensioned. Maybe we have limitations for the size of the openings, so we don't want to dimension every hole, maybe just the big ones, and so on. And here you have possibility to split the same equal dimension. Okay, here you have possibility to configure the dimensioning options for the hosted metal details. So these details may be only face-based and line-based elements which are hosted to the main element, and it's important to set the model behavior as a steel and or the concrete. So you can use face-based elements of a structural framing or structural connection category and model behavior set to steel or concrete. And you can use different dimension rules, so you can dimension all the element, or you can dimension the model lines which are used in families, and so on. So here under the rebars you will have again some options how to dimension rebars. Then you'll have possibility to choose the nodes, how they will be presented and what information they will bring. Let's say for hosted details, dimensions will be included, and I will not use any name for the node, but I will use a quantity and I will use the type on the node. So you can choose like this, but we have again one new feature here. So in previous versions it was available only to select the type parameters over here, but now you can also use shared parameters for the nodes. So keep it in mind and use it if it's okay. Maybe it will give you again more flexibility because it was developed according to the request of our users, as always. So okay, so you select the nodes which should be available, what should be the names, and what should be the format and the text type, the offset distance, and so on. And here you have possibility to present nodes on the sides of the element, or just connect lines and use one node. Okay, so after you modify the dimension rule, you can assign different dimension rule to different views. Okay, so it's pretty clear, and yeah, so we make these configurations and use to create these pretty good-looking drawings. Yeah, so okay, the last under the configuration, which I will talk more about, is dynamic Smart Assemblies update. So I will click on that, and you will see this window where you can turn on or turn off the dynamic Smart Assemblies update. If I will turn it on, it will work now in Revit in every file. It's not related to a project again. So we recommend to turn it on when you want to use it and turn it off when you don't need it to use this, because you know maybe you have other add-ons and you may not know how they will interact between one other. So we just guess it might be useful to turn it off when you don't need it, and so on. So okay, so how does it work when I turn it on? Let's take a look. Now I have here, okay, I select this. I will open Manage Assemblies, and I will show Primary. Okay, so I have this assembly is primary, and these are secondary assemblies. So this one is with drawings, and these are the copies of primary assembly. So now dynamic update will change the way I modify the assemblies. So let's say if I will place now the hole on my primary assembly, let's say I will place on this face, so I will get the message. Do you want to update assembly views? And I have few options. How can I go further? So if I will say yes, so views of this assembly will be updated, and this whole will be transferred to all the secondary assemblies. If I will choose no, views will not be updated, but the whole will be transferred also to the secondary assemblies. If I will cancel, of course, it will be terminated. But yeah, if I will click on no, then you will see that now I have these 3 holes on all assemblies. So that's how I control the changes and how I can change all of the same assembly types, because in other case you will have to, you will create here new assembly type, then if you want to do the same for the other assembly, you will have to copy this and you will create again a new assembly and so on. But this dynamic update does this automatically. If I will use not the cut but some kind of a detail on the primary assembly, so after I place my detail, nothing happens because assembly is not changed. It doesn't change. When we use hole, then it changes, of course, automatically because it was cut. But now it was not changed because it's assembly and it's just a plate. But if I will use update assemblies, it will run through the assemblies and it will search if there are changes in the primary and secondary assemblies. So if I will use update assemblies or I will use recalculate assemblies. So if I will choose to update assemblies, let's say, now it will update views of assembly and it will copy this detail to the secondary assemblies. Okay, so views are updated and all of these details are copied to all of these elements. If I will choose to recalculate, so it will just copy these details to secondary assemblies. So that's how it works with primary assemblies. So I will undo that now. I will undo this command and I will I will try to insert opening in the secondary assembly. So if I will place my hole over here, so you will see now a different question. If you want to rebuild, so Revit already rebuilt this to the new assembly with such name, but do you want to create new assembly and give it a name according to the mark of this element, or you don't want to create new assembly, just remove the hole and just show me where is the primary assembly. So these are where you can choose to work with primary. Sorry, I will try to insert hole again, and this time I will choose to create new assembly. So it will automatically not just create assembly, but it will also create views according to configuration. And now I will have this new assembly created over here. So right. If I will choose to insert, let's say, plates on the secondary assemblies, let's say there was modifications, maybe other user have added some plates which he needed to add to add these details for some connections or so on, but maybe even you forget to add it to assembly, these elements. So when you run update assemblies or recalculate assemblies command, it will check all of the assemblies if there are changes in primary or secondary assemblies, and it will ask these questions. What do you want to do? So you can choose no, not to create new assembly, just remove the detail, or do you want to create new assembly? So I will, okay, I know that I have to, if I will remove, let's say, this hole and will recalculate again, it will create my assembly. Now I will have again the same assemblies. Okay, so then I will add this detail again to the secondary assembly, and you saw that when I do the update, you can use this conflict select the option you want and use for the other conflicts which will be found in the next checks. So okay, I will choose to create new assemblies, and you will see that I will have here new assembly because it's different from the primary assembly, and I will have new assembly over here because it's also different from the primary assemblies. So it automatically checks if there are changes, and you can select what do you want to do, if you want to update or if you want to remove this from your assembly, and so on. So this is what dynamic update gives you, the new way to create and modify and control the updates of your assemblies. Okay, so that's what I want to show you today about the dynamic update, the new functionality in our Smart Assembly and all the new features, the Auto Create Assemblies, the Managed Assemblies. Maybe not everyone noticed this command, which was released in the previous update, or in shop drawing configuration. You see that you can use shared parameters for the nodes, and you can use this update views functionality to choose if insert grids or not, and this one was also introduced in the previous update for the to make it better work with wall elements and to prepare precast drawings and so on. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you today. If you have questions, I would like to see them. Okay. Questions. What does views are visible mean? Okay, I thought I said it, but maybe you missed it in the configurations. This new column, visible views are visible. So it means just if I will switch to this one. So you see the view symbols are visible, but let's say in this view I don't see them, right? So I just selected to make them available only in this view, but not I don't see them here. So that's where this option is for. Okay. I guess it's pretty clear for especially for those who has been using Smart Assemblies already for some time. And the new functionality, I hope you'll find them useful. Just if you will have questions or you want to try our other tools, I will just get back to my presentation and will say that we have a lot of different tools. So if Smart Assemblies is not what you need, maybe other tools will help you, and you can, as I said in the beginning, you can reach all of the tools and get the trial of any of the tools for 14 days, and you can use it. You can download this BIM doc from our webpage. So we will work to promote this BIM industry, and I hope you will join us. Yeah, so thank you for your attention, because I don't see more questions, and if you have questions, if you will have questions about any tools, you can contact us through the support at ajcat.com, or you can contact me directly, Valentis at ajcat.com, and I will try to help you. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and goodbye.